I think buying this car might have been a mistake. Let me show you guys why. Before everyone flames me in the comment section, there is method to the madness of why this car might have been a mistake to buy. And as I'm talking to you about this video, I still can't get over how good this car looks, nonetheless. But there are a few little issues with it, and that's what I'm going to be talking to you guys about in today's video. First of all, the maintenance. Unfortunately, this is no B58. This car has the notorious N55 in it, and that's the slight downside to this car. And obviously, in an ideal world, the back of this car would say M240i, but it doesn't. It says M235i, which at the time I was really happy with. However, currently this car does have a few issues, as the N55s do usually have when they get to a certain mileage. Now, most of these issues I have fixed, but obviously there are a few. For instance, oil leaks, the sump cover gasket, the, I guess you could call it rocker cover gasket, or as people like to call it, valve cover gasket. They're also things that are a slight issue, as well as something which is always playing in your mind whenever you're pushing the car hard, and that is, am I going to spin a rod bearing today? If you're also enjoying the video so far, please consider subscribing to the channel down below and give it a thumbs up. And the other small thing is the fact that this car can't really make a lot of power. It can make good power, but it is no B58 and it's no S55, and it is most definitely no S58. The N55 came out well over 10 years ago, and obviously at the time it was producing really good power. But unfortunately, I've seen N54s make better power, and I think this is purely down because the rest of the cars have different turbo upgrades and are stronger engines. But you guys didn't click on this video to hear all doom and gloom. You clicked on it because I added a catch to the title. And it is, why am I still driving this car? And it's not the fact that I can't afford a M240i. In fact, these cars in the UK are kind of similar price. I could probably sell this car, put £1,000 on top or £1,000 and have a similar spec M240i. However, the reason I don't is purely because I love this car. And for one, I love the sound that the N55 makes, and I don't think the B58 can replicate that. And number two, I've done so much to this car that at this current moment in time, I can't really get rid of it. I think for the age of it, it stands well. The mileage it's on is really not that bad. And it's just an overall really good round car that produces really decent horsepower. However, the fuel economy does suck when it is tuned, I will say that. But in 2025, the M235i compared to the M240i, it's still holding up really good. Like I said, you can make decent power. This thing's pushing around 420 horsepower. The fuel economy is awful, but if you're going to tune a car, you've got to expect that fuel economy to go away anyway. And the reason I'm still driving it is because if you take a look inside, it's still a really modernized car. You look inside and it doesn't look ancient. You know, you're not stepping inside an E36 or an E46. You know, I've got the new steering wheel going on here. The iDrive is the big screen. I've got the Pro Nav. Everything in the back is looking pretty much unused. There's like hardly any marks on the back. It's hardly been sat in. And that's one of the reasons, is the fact that this car still holds up really good in today's age. Now, my dad has a Mark 8 or Mark 8.5, I can't really remember, Golf GTI Club Sport, and that car is an absolute machine. It's honestly wonderful. However, it's just not built like this car. I think BM back in the day, they just made cars so well, and this is the only reason I'm kind of wanting to keep this car, and it's the fact that there's no rattles inside, there's no creaks. That Golf GTI is made out of like tacky plastic, and the carpets are horrible, and it makes squeaking noises when you shouldn't expect it from a new car. And that's the reason I can kind of hold up with this car, whether it has the occasional oil leak, whether it does suck on fuel, and whether I do have to go round track worrying if I'm going to spin a rod bearing, for example. I would rather have those particular issues than have something which is kind of modern day costing me way more money and I don't like it. Now, there are downsides, like I mentioned, reliability, fuel, maintenance parts, all those kind of things which are expected with any car. Suspension components are constantly going because when cars get to a certain mileage, they start knocking and things just start failing. However, let me put a clip on screen now of what this car sounds like, and this is another reason why I can't sell it. Now let me know in the comment section what you thought of that. Do you think this car sounds good, or is it just obnoxiously loud? I've done a lot to the exhaust system. I've modified it heavily and I spent a lot of time customizing it to make it sound like this. And I know this is going to trigger all the people who have an M140i or a B58, for example. I don't think they sound as good. They sound good, don't get me wrong, but they're not N55 level. I'm going to start this thing up for you guys so you can hear it in the flesh. No pre-recorded sound clip. You can hear it with a few revs. Now, I'll start it up so you guys can hear what this thing sounds like. Engine's already warm. We're at 81 degrees oil temperature. Let's put this thing in sport and you can have a listen. It's really windy today as well. I do apologise for the wind, but listen to this. Combined with the blow-off valve that I fitted to this car, which is another reason I don't want to sell it, because that blow-off valve genuinely took me over 14 hours to fit. It was the worst modification I put on the car. And it's one of the things of like, if I'm going to sell the car, the blow-off valve has to go. There's no way I'm transferring it to a different car. But the car sounds good, and I can sacrifice the fuel economy. I can sacrifice going round and pushing the car hard and thinking, oh, am I going to spin a rod bearing? Because I truly do love this car. So now, I'm going to turn to you guys in the comments. Let me know what you think. Do you think this car is still modern enough to be daily driving in this current age and time? Do you think the engine still sounds up to sounding as good as other engines that are out there? You know, there was once upon a time where I actually dreamed of owning this car, and now it's a reality, and I totally get it. It's not an M car, it's an M Lite. But at this time in my life, it's one of my favourite cars that I've ever owned, and I'm truly happy with it. But I think that's going to be a wrap for today's video, guys. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos on this car, then please consider subscribing down below. We have loads of content coming. I'm taking this car to Germany in less than 3 weeks, and all the videos are going to be an absolute blast. But let me know in the comment section down below, would you have this car? Would you buy this one off me if you could? And I just want to know your general thoughts. Let me know. And apart from that, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll catch you in the next video.